Have you ever wondered what it takes to captivate one of the most powerful men in the world? Today, we're diving deep into one of history's greatest love stories, or perhaps one of its most brilliant political maneuvers. This is the story of how Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, ensnared the heart of Mark Antony, a Roman general at the peak of his power. It's a tale of glamour, ambition, and a strategy so masterful it changed the course of empires. So, grab your popcorn, because this is better than any Hollywood movie. Let's set the stage. The year is 41 BC. Rome is in turmoil after the assassination of Julius Caesar. The Republic is fractured and power is divided among three men: Octavian, Caesar's heir, Lepidus, a loyal general, and our man, Mark Antony. Antony, a celebrated military commander known for his charisma, his love of life, and his battlefield prowess, was tasked with governing the eastern provinces of the Roman Republic. His journey led him to Tarsus in modern-day Turkey, where he summoned the Queen of Egypt to answer for her ambiguous role during the recent civil wars. Little did he know, he wasn't just summoning a queen, he was summoning his destiny. Cleopatra was no ordinary ruler. Descended from Ptolemy, one of Alexander the Great's generals, she was a formidable intellectual. Fluent in at least 9 languages, she was the first of her dynasty to bother learning Egyptian. She was a scholar, a politician, and a strategist. But her greatest weapon was her charisma. She didn't just walk into a room, she owned it. She understood people, their desires, their weaknesses, and she knew exactly how to use that knowledge to her advantage. She had once famously rolled herself in a carpet to be smuggled into Julius Caesar's presence, securing his support and her throne. With Antony, she knew she needed a different approach, something far grander. Instead of scurrying to Antony like a subordinate, Cleopatra made him wait. She deliberately delayed her arrival, building anticipation. When she finally sailed up the Cydnus River to Tarsus, it wasn't on a simple transport ship. It was a spectacle designed to overwhelm the senses. Imagine this: a magnificent barge with a golden stern and purple sails, propelled by silver oars moving in time to the music of flutes, pipes, and harps. And there, on the deck, under a gold-spangled canopy, reclined Cleopatra herself. She wasn't dressed as a queen. She was dressed as Venus, the Roman goddess of love. Her attendants were costumed as sea nymphs and cupids, fanning her and burning sweet-smelling incense that drifted to the crowds gathered on the riverbanks. The entire city of Tarsus emptied out to witness this incredible sight. Antony was left sitting alone in the public square where he had planned to receive her. He had expected a queen answering a summons. Instead, the goddess of love had arrived, and she was inviting the god of wine and revelry. Dionysus, a role Antony often liked to play to a feast. He had been completely outmaneuvered. The power dynamic had shifted before they even spoke a single word. Antony, intrigued and undoubtedly impressed, accepted her invitation. That night, Cleopatra hosted a banquet of legendary extravagance. The feast was held on her barge, which was lit by so many lamps, arranged in intricate patterns, that the sight was breathtaking. The food, the wine, the entertainment, everything was designed to showcase Egypt's immense wealth and Cleopatra's impeccable taste. She was witty, intelligent, and utterly charming. She could converse with Antony about politics, military strategy, literature, and philosophy, all while captivating him with her presence. For Antony, who was used to the rigid formalities of Rome, this was intoxicating. He was a man who appreciated life's pleasures, and Cleopatra was offering him a world of sensory delight he had never known. But let's be clear, this was not just about seduction. Every move Cleopatra made was calculated. At this point in her reign, Egypt's independence was hanging by a thread. The ever-expanding Roman Republic was a constant threat. Cleopatra had allied with Julius Caesar to secure her throne and protect her kingdom, and after his death, she needed a new Roman protector. Antony was the perfect candidate. He was powerful, he controlled the East, and importantly, he was a rival to Octavian, who Cleopatra rightly saw as a cold, calculating threat to her and her son by Caesarion. By winning Antony's heart, Cleopatra wasn't just gaining a lover, she was gaining a powerful ally, a shield for her kingdom, and a partner in her ambitions. Meanwhile, Antony was at a crossroads in his own life. While he projected an image of strength and confidence, he was emotionally vulnerable. He was grieving the recent death of his wife, Fulvia, who had waged a war against Octavian in Italy. Partly in his name, he felt a mix of guilt and resentment. He was also growing weary of the constant political backstabbing in Rome. He was a soldier at heart, more comfortable on the battlefield or at a feast than in the stuffy Roman Senate. The world Cleopatra offered a world of luxury, passion, and intellectual partnership was an irresistible escape from the pressures of his Roman life. She saw his yearning for something more, for a life less ordinary, and she presented herself as the key to that life. After their initial meeting in Tarsus, Antony followed Cleopatra back to Alexandria for the winter of 41 to 40 BC. This was where their bond truly solidified. Alexandria was the jewel of the Mediterranean, a vibrant, multicultural city of learning and luxury. Here, away from Roman eyes, Antony let his guard down completely. He and Cleopatra formed a society they called the inimitable livers. They spent their days and nights in extravagant parties, lavish games, and intellectual discussions. They would wander the city streets in disguise, playing pranks on the locals. It was a whirlwind of fun and indulgence. For Antony, this was freedom. He shed his Roman persona and embraced the Hellenistic lifestyle. He was no longer just a general. He was a king in the making, living with a goddess. Cleopatra, in turn, ensured he was constantly entertained and enthralled. She was his drinking buddy, his intellectual equal, and his passionate lover. She shared in his boisterous humor and matched his energy. This wasn't just a fling, they were building a genuine partnership. He began to see his future not in Rome, but in Alexandria with her. He was falling deeply in love, not just with the woman, but with the world she had created for him. The irresistible bond was forged. Cleopatra had successfully woven a web of political necessity and genuine affection. She had appealed to Antony's senses, his ego, his intellect, and his heart. She offered him a kingdom, a partnership, and a love that Rome could never provide. He left Alexandria a changed man, forever tied to the Queen of the Nile. Their love affair would eventually lead them into direct conflict with Rome and Octavian, culminating in the famous Battle of Actium and their tragic deaths. But in that moment, in Alexandria, they had found something extraordinary. So, was it a cold-hearted political strategy or one of history's greatest romances? The truth, as it so often is, lies somewhere in the middle. Cleopatra was a brilliant political operator who used seduction as a tool of statecraft. But she was also a captivating woman who likely found a kindred spirit in the larger-than-life Mark Antony. Their story is a powerful reminder that love and ambition are not always separate forces. Sometimes they are two sides of the same golden coin. It was Cleopatra's masterful understanding of this that allowed her to win Antony's heart and, for a time, secure the future of her kingdom. Thank you so much for watching this journey into the past. If you enjoyed this story of power, passion, and strategy, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most fascinating characters. Let me know in the comments what you think. Was Cleopatra a master manipulator, or a woman truly in love? See you in the next video.